back to my YouTube channel, but if you're new here, my name is Brittany and I'm a Chicago-based lifestyle content creator. And I'm back with another one of my monthly favorites videos. So it's July, we're deep in summer right now. Not that that's necessarily relevant to most of these pics, but all I'm saying is it's hot. Halfway through the year, or over halfway through the year now. So this is my 7th monthly favorites video and I'm really enjoying this series. So if you haven't watched any of my past monthly favorites videos, I am going to share my favorite thing, basically all my favorite things for the month. So music, movies, products, TV, all of the above. And without further ado, let's get started. So, okay, starting with beauty. I'm not like a huge fragrance person. Not in like a way of like I don't like fragrances. I just have a hard time finding fragrances that I really like. And I guess ones that don't make me, like a lot of fragrances tend to make me feel like kind of sick. Like I usually get like a headache or I feel nauseated or something like that. Or they're just like way too strong and overpowering. So anyway, all that to say, I'm not a huge fragrance person. Like I have like a few that I are like my go-tos that I really, really like. But I've discovered a new fragrance, I guess like brand you could say, and a couple of scents that I really like from the brand. That brand is Brown Girl Jane. So I have a few of the like, I bought the Discover, oh, I don't break any of these, but I brought the Discovery set. So I got a bunch of little like minis or yeah, like testers of all of the different scents from the line. So if you're not familiar with Brown Girl Jane, it is obviously a fragrance brand. It's like a Black owned fragrance brand. I actually got a chance to do like a kind of like a meet and greet, a virtual meet and greet with the founder of Brown Girl Jane. So if you're new to my channel, I do work at Sephora corporate. And so I do have a lot of opportunities to just like I guess like learn a lot more about the beauty industry, which I love beauty, so it is really fun. And through one of the like ERG or like employee resource groups that I'm in, we did a meet and greet Q&A type of thing with Micah Jones, who's the founder of Brown Girl Jane. And like I said, I'm not a huge fragrance person, so like I knew that Brown Girl Jane had launched at Sephora, but I like just looked that much into it. But then hearing her talk about the brand and everything, I was like, oh, well, now I'm intrigued and I want to like dive into it more. So I ordered the Discovery set and I like a lot of these scents. So I've had this literally for like maybe a month at this point now. So I haven't worn a lot of them a ton, but I'm just like looking at these to like make sure I pick up the right ones. Oh, so the one I really like so far is Casablanca, which Malika actually said that was her favorite scent too. And let's see, how would I describe this? It's very like, it's like pretty fresh. It's pretty light. So the way they, like on the Brown Girl Jane website, they describe it as a captivating fragrance inspired by Morocco's legendary city. The scent opens with a sweet, fluffy marshmallow note, quickly followed by warm and spicy cardamom and wisps of smoky incense. Rich amber, sensual musk, and creamy sandalwood create an alluring base. Casablanca invokes evenings of mystery and romance in a blend that's both intriguing and sophisticated. So it's a little musky, like, which I do like in scents, and I always love a good sandalwood. And it's not, I know it said like marshmallow and like sweet. It doesn't smell like too sweet in my personal opinion, but again, everything from Brown Girl Jane is like cruelty free, it's vegan, it doesn't have any sulfates or anything. So I think that's also why it's like it's something I'm like, I feel fine about wearing in terms of like, it doesn't really affect that, like it doesn't give me a headache or make me feel weird or anything like that. So yeah, in general, I'm glad that I was able to like discover this line and really like give it a shot. But I would say Casablanca is probably my favorite fragrance of what I've discovered or tried out so far. And I know it's sold, like I said, it's launched at Sephora. Obviously they have their own website too for like direct to consumer. I think right now it's online only. But anyway, that is a new fragrance brand that I was excited to discover and I'm really liking. Moving into like the wellness realm, which I don't always have a wellness, I don't even know if wellness is the right word, but I'm gonna call it wellness. I don't always have a wellness pick to share, but this month I do. So I just got this like a couple weeks ago, but I am obsessed and mad that I didn't have it sooner. So I just bought a theragun. So this is the theragun Relief. It's like different versions or models, I guess you could say, and this is, I think, like a smaller ish one. So it's basically like a massager. It's pretty like a muscle massager or a body massager, I guess you could say. And I mean I've seen these like advertised a lot and I just never really bought one. Just like didn't feel like I had the need for one. But I've been getting back into like a workout routine. So I've been going to Pilates, like reformer Pilates, about like 4 times a week for the past month or so, maybe almost 2 months at this point. And my muscles were noticed, even though like you do like stretching at the end of the class, I feel like my muscles were feeling so tight and like fatigued just because I think I was doing a lot more work than I was used to on them, and because I literally haven't been working out for like a couple of years at this point. And so there were some things that were hard for me to do in the class because my hamstrings were just so tight. So I was like doing some foam rolling and stuff at home, but it just wasn't, I feel like it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So then I was literally like, okay, I need to order. I was just gonna order like one of those cheap, like a cheap like $30 whatever, like massager. Like I've seen them at like on Amazon, Walmart, whatever. And then as I was looking into them, I realized like that theraguns are actually FSA and HSA eligible. So I checked my FSA and I had about like over $500 still left in it. I'm like, we're halfway through the year, knock on wood. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens to me before the end of the year. But I was like, I feel comfortable using like a little bit of that for something like this. So I think it was about $140, like maybe $150 after like tax and all of that. And it's well worth it because I mean, let's see, you can even see how like, can you see how fast that's moving? And this is like the lowest setting. I know it looks like it probably could be painful, but it's not. And it worked so, oh, okay, we're off. I could feel like immediate relief when I like used it. Like by the next day, I literally was like, oh, my muscles already feel looser and I feel so much better. So I've been trying to use it after like well after each class that I go to because I'm not remembering to use it every day. But I feel like a lot of that muscle tightness and soreness that I was feeling is gone. So I'm obsessed. I'm actually probably gonna use it after this because I didn't use it last night or yesterday after I went to my class, and my hamstrings are feeling a little tight. I mean, if you probably like do a lot of running or weightlifting and things like that, I feel like something like this could be really helpful. So I am glad that I bought this. And again, this is the Theragun Relief one. So again, a little bit less expensive than like some of the other models, but there's also, I think, an even less expensive model than this, but this felt like kind of exactly what I needed. And I know it comes with, I don't have them with me. I was looking around for them, but it comes with different, like, this is like the standard dampener. I don't know what you would call this, like cushion thing. And it does come with other ones. Like there's one that's a little bit more pointed that probably is for if you have like a really, really like tough knot you're trying to work out. It probably would be good to use for that. But I actually used to get massages. Like for a while, I was going to get a massage like once a month. And then I was just like got a little too expensive to keep up with, but I feel like this could be like a good substitute for something like that. So anyway, it's another thing that I have been loving this month and I'm definitely going to continue using. So moving into music, starting with my favorite album of the month. In most of my favorites videos, I usually have like a physical album, like a vinyl that I'm sharing, but I don't have a vinyl for this album because like it hasn't been released on vinyl yet. But I feel like a lot of people might relate to me on this one, but my favorite album of July is Megan Thee Stallion's new album, Megan. I mean, I love Megan Thee Stallion. I'm excited to see her in a couple weeks at Lollapalooza. And and this album has been kind of like highly awaited. Like there've been a lot of singles coming like off of it. Most importantly, Hiss, which honestly really kicked off the era, I will say, this recent era of rap beef battles or of rap beefs. But I really like this album. Like again, like I said, I like Megan Thee Stallion, so I knew I probably would like it anyway. But I listened to it like basically like the weekend that it came out, and it's just so good. And I love Megan Thee Stallion because, and like a really good rapper, a really good performer. She has just like a really great like presence as like star power, I guess is maybe the right word I'm looking for. I'm also trying to like get on Megan Thee Stallion's workout routine. That's like what I really need to be on. But she also just like has overcome so much like as an artist and as like a person, like both of her parents dying and then being shot by like his name who shall not be spoken, and then like having to overcome so many people say she was like, she literally had to go on Good Morning America to be like, no, I'm not lying about this, and just so much like misogyny within like the music industry. And now she is essentially an independent artist because she has like, this album was released on her own on like, this is her first album released on her own record label. So my girl Megan has just like overcome so much. So anyway, all that to say, I am really liking the album. So my favorite tracks, I mean, it starts off strong with Hiss, as I just mentioned, but I also really like Rattle. Like that is such a good follow-up to Hiss, I feel like, in terms of like, if you listen to the album in order. There's just so many good bars, I feel like, throughout the album, but I want to say, I'm pretty sure it's on Rattle. It's either Rattle or Figueroa, or the bars like, why would I go 50 with somebody whose 50 is not as big as my 50? speaking for the all ladies, the hotties, like everybody, like, no, literally, why would I do that? And then even just like, I'm not into anime, but the whole incorporation of like anime and like the Japanese like culture of it all is really cool, because I don't think that there are a lot of mainstream artists, especially like mainstream rappers, like that are incorporating things like that into like their art. So it's really cool and like connecting with like a really niche audience in a way, because like there are so many people that are into anime like across the globe. And just like the TikTok challenge with Mamushi, really cute too. So like I said, I'm excited to see Megan Thee Stallion a couple weeks at Lollapalooza. I'm sure she'll perform like some new tracks. Oh, and there just are also so many good collabs on this album too. Like another one of my faves, Victoria Monet, Spin. There's of course like a feature with Glorilla. Oh, the UGK Paper Together, the like the UGK feature, that is like such a good song too, but like the flow of it just like sounds so good. And again, I love Megan Thee Stallion, so like Megan, they can never make me hate you, but Megan is definitely my favorite album of July. Okay, and this is a new category that I've added, still in the music realm, that I'm adding, and I think I'm gonna stick with this for the rest of the year too, in terms of my favorites videos, because I feel like sometimes album wasn't enough in terms of what I wanted to talk about related to music. So I'm also going to share my favorite song of the month, because a lot of times they are not the same. Like my favorite song might not be from what my favorite album is. So my favorite song of July, and I mean, this is probably why I could have said this in June, but like it's still going strong in July. And maybe it's a little basic, but it's 360 by Charli XCX. I love Brat as like an album overall. I ordered it on vinyl like last month, and it still hasn't shipped yet. I think I'll get it sometime later on this month or in August. But I think I was sleeping on Charli XCX. I mean, I obviously know like the Fancy, like with Iggy Azalea. I know of Charli XCX, but I hadn't really like followed her very closely. And then like, as I've said in many of my other videos, there's so many new albums coming out this year, and I've really just been trying to listen to every one of them, or at least like most of the big ones. But honestly, I feel like I've listened to a lot of like the new albums that have come out this year. So I listened to Charli XCX's Brat when that dropped, and I was like, oh, I love this. Like it was, I mean, it's very much like club culture, but it's also, the lyrics are really like, it like when you listen to the song, if you were to just listen to it at like a high level and then you listen to the lyrics, it's almost like you wouldn't catch, I feel like, a lot of the things she's talking about. Like it's very much about girlhood, I feel, or womanhood, I should say. But anyway, 360, I'm so Julia. Like I can't stop listening to it. It's such like an earwormy song, and I feel like I keep hearing it out so many, like I keep hearing it out in the world so many places too. Like, I mean, I don't listen to the radio or anything, but just like people playing it in their cars, or like random like places that I'm at and stuff like that too. But I really, again, Brat, I feel like as an album I'm really loving, but 360 in particular is my song of the month, maybe song of the summer, we'll see. Moving on to my favorite movie of the month, and that is Inside Out 2. So I saw this in theaters a couple weeks ago, and I was obsessed. Like I didn't see Inside Out 1, or like the first Inside Out, but I knew the gist of it, that it's about like your emotions and like how it's like through the eyes of like a kid basically, and how it's how like you process and work through emotions. But and so like I kind of knew that much about it, and then went into Inside Out 2, like that little bit of info. I love this movie, and I kept finding myself saying, like as I was watching it, this is such a good movie. And I feel like it's a good movie, and just in terms of the way the story is written, and just how it is about like, it truly is about processing emotion, and especially like through the eyes of like a child. But in this instance, like she's a teenager, she's starting to go through puberty. But just like as an adult, I feel like it's also something, like I think this should be something every single person in the world that interacts with other people should watch, because it helps you, or I feel like it just contextualizes what feelings feel like, and how people process through them, and how you interact with those types of feelings, like on a personal level, but then also how other people perceive those emotions too, like the way that you are putting them out into the world. Like I just thought it was just really, really well done, and so good, and so captivating, and like fun to watch, but also like kind of deep and insightful at the same time. And in particular, like since she's going through puberty, she's getting all these, like Riley, the main character, she's getting all these new emotions, and one of them is anxiety. And the way that they just like show what an anxiety attack, like a panic attack, looks like, I was like, that is just such a great way to, again, contextualize that for people who have maybe never been through or had an anxiety attack, to say like, this is what it feels like you've literally lost control your motherboard and like the control room, and everything is just like in a panic and you can't stop and slow down and process what's really happening. So I don't know, I just thought it was such a good movie, so well done. Also, like the animation and stuff was really cool on the part of Pixar, but I like unexpectedly liked it a lot more than I thought I would, like going into it. So I cannot recommend, I feel like, that movie enough for both kids and adults. I think especially parents too, parents of teens. Not that I'm a parent, but I feel like as a parent it could be good to like see like, oh yeah, like to like kind of remind you like, yes, this is what it's like. You're kind of trying to work through all of these new things that are happening and you've never experienced any of these feelings before. So like, what does that feel like? So again, I could talk about Inside Out 2 for probably an entire hour, but I really loved the movie and like would definitely recommend it. Okay, closing out with my favorite TV show of July, and that TV show is House of the Dragon season 2 specifically. So when I'm recording this, episode 5 is the last episode that dropped. So there's still going to be 5 more episodes, I think 6, 7, yeah, there's 10 episodes. So there'll still be 5 more episodes. So we're right at the halfway point. And I mean, I love House of the Dragon. I loved season 1. So I guess to back up, if you don't know what House of the Dragon is, it's essentially the prequel to Game of Thrones. And I did watch Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it live, mostly because, I mean, there always are so many shows on, but also I sometimes like, and this is like probably my most toxic trait, sometimes when things are too popular, I'm like, it can't be that good. Like, and then I just like can't buy into it. But then I did eventually, I don't know why, I don't remember what like prompted me to finally start watching it. I think it was like one winter, and I just like didn't have anything to do. So I like started watching it. And I want to say when I started watching it live was at season 7 or whatever the set, like, because there are 8 seasons, I believe, right? So then I think I started watching it at season 7, or if there are 7 seasons, I started watching it live at season 6, basically the second to the last season. So I'd watched everything up to that point and then was watching it live weekly. And I did really like Game of Thrones. Like, and again, something I unexpectedly really liked, because it's like medieval, like, why do I care about this? Like all the like the lords and the ladies, like these rich people, whatever. But it's just it's like the all of the interpersonal stories of it all. So anyway, House of the Dragon is essentially the story of like House Targaryen. It starts like they open it up with season 1 saying it takes place, I think, almost like 200 years before the start of Game of Thrones. So it's about like, it's literally House Targaryen and like their downfall pretty much. So it's like, as I'm watching this, like, you know, all these people are essentially at some point going to die, like, through this huge war, but you become so emotionally attached to them. I'm like, well, no, I don't want them to die. Like, I need my people. So anyway, once House of the Dragon started, like, I think the first season came out 2 years ago. I honestly think I like it a little more than Game of Thrones, and I think it's because it's a lot more female leads, which I feel like there's there's a little bit more depth to some of those, like the story lines in terms of like these women trying to be in power, because there's the whole added component of being a woman in this like ancient time period when women have absolutely no, like, are completely disregarded as like human beings for the most part. So I feel like that's like an extra layer. And I think it's also because it's just one family for the most part, that this is all about the Targaryens. And so it's like, it's a little easier, I think, to follow in some ways, but I think it's also, I don't know, I've liked it a little bit better than Game of Thrones so far. But anyway, these people, the Targaryens, some of the messiest people alive. Like I mean, they're not alive anymore, but like the drama within their families, like the way like everybody's so conniving, like it is messy. I think that's the drama is like what draws me into. And I don't know, it's just been really good. And so I feel like, especially, I'm trying to not give too many spoilers if you haven't watched it, but in this season, so like season 1, I actually have watched season 1 probably like 3 or 4 times since it came out 2 years ago. So like I know those episodes, I feel like the back of my hands. I watched it once on a plane, like on a 9-hour flight, and like I literally could watch the whole entire series. But anyway, season 2 starts with like truly like the Dance of the Dragon. So the war is like taking off, and just so much has happened. Like, oh my god, I'm remembering now, my queen, the queen that never was, Rhaenys, when she died so it was the last episode, her and Melee's, like their downfall, their death, that was heartbreaking. Like I just keep finding myself in so many of the episodes being like, and And I haven't read the book, so I don't know how these storylines are gonna unfold, but I have read some spoilers. So it's like I even know when some of the things are gonna happen, but it's still so shocking to see it actually like unfold. So yes, when Meleese and Rhaenys died, like that was just like so heartbreaking because Rhaenys was like riding for Rhaenyra. She was her right-hand woman, and now she's gone. And just the whole drama of like Aemon question mark trying to kill Aegon to like become the king, and now he kind of is essentially like he's kind of like filling in for Aegon now that Aegon's like on like knocking on death's door. But I don't know, it's really good. So it's a show I would definitely recommend if you like drama, if you like looking at cool CGI, and just like the costuming is really cool. The set design is like really great. So I'm sure House of the Dragon is talked about a lot like all across the internet, but so I'm sure I'm not the first person that anyone's heard talk about it, but I can't recommend it enough, and I cannot wait to see like how the rest of this season is going to unfold. But it's just been so good. Like I'm so glad that it was back, and like it's been so good to have like because TV has been a little weak, I feel like, these past few months, so even like this past whole year almost. But was so glad that like House of the Dragon is back. So anyway, those are all of my favorites for the month of July. Maybe there was something new in there for you to like find out and discover. But if you enjoyed watching this video, which I hope that you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.